some rest and downtime over the busy week. It was lovely that we had some sunshine in the last weekend, and now we're back at work. The rain's here as well, so ever changeable climate that we live in. Just to say a huge thank you as well to everybody that made to feel members of the local authority very welcome in our unannounced visits before half term as well for Key Stage 2 monitoring. We had some lovely feedback as well. There was really nice feedback in one of our KIT meetings yesterday about how that unannounced visit was carried out, and it was extremely positive. So it's always lovely to hear that as well. But we wanted to extend our thanks to you for making us feel so welcome as well. So thank you. Now, we do have two guest speakers today, and I can see one of them is in the room. I was just scanning down the list, and I can see the others here as well. Otherwise, this would have been a very short meeting otherwise. So I'm very pleased to welcome. We've got Hannah Lester from the Origin Maths Hub today, and we've also got Catherine Winton, who's the RSHE lead for Compass as well. So again, to start the meeting, Catherine, if it's okay with you, you're first on our agenda today. So welcome to the Warwickshire Heads briefing. It's really lovely to see you.
Thanks, Darren. Really appreciate it. I think I've met most of you before, but after discussion with Carl, we thought it was appropriate to pop in with the draft guidance.
We moved healthy food drama.
All right, sorry, I thought somebody was asking me something then. So no, because of the draft guidance that came out, which is obviously in consultation to July the 11th, I thought it was appropriate that I popped in and said I'm still here, and if anybody's got any questions, then please absolutely come to me. We had a successful secondary RSHE meeting and central primary the week before half term, where lots of schools attended, asking really pertinent questions about the draft guidance and what the kind of implication of embedding that into the curriculum. And like I've said to them, at the moment it is in consultation phase, don't be changing anything yet. And now obviously we've also had the situation of the general election being announced, so that kind of puts further complications towards the draft guidance. Although I have been on a meeting with the DFE this morning with all the other RSHE leads across the country, and they have said that it will still go ahead. They just might extend the consultation period because of the general election. We have a meeting in the north today. I'm sure some of your schools are attending. That's at 3:30 at Whitestone, and in the south we have one tomorrow night, which Coat and End have very kindly hosted. And it's really any south schools head, so Stratford, Warwick, that I'm pleading out to, because we are struggling to get that network as popular as the other ones within the region. The other ones have become really successful, where there's lots of collaboration going on between colleagues, and it's just to raise your awareness of it. If you are listening thinking, Catherine, I've no idea what you're going on about with this network, please just reach out to me, because the paperwork is obviously sitting in an admin or a kind of junk email box somewhere. So I'm more than happy to add you to the distribution list if you give me the correct email to do it. And that's really all that I'm here to say. It's just, we're here to support with the new draft guidance if you want it.
Oh, that's brilliant, Catherine. Thank you so much for that very concise update as well. That's much appreciated. And will colleagues have your contact details as well?
I'll stick them in the chat now.
Brilliant.
But they should have. So.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Catherine. Lovely to see you. Thank you.
I'll go as soon as I've put my information in. All right.
Brilliant. Thanks,
Catherine. Thank you.
And without further ado, then we'll hand over to Hannah. Hannah, it's good to see you. I hope you're okay. The floor is yours.
I am well, and thank you for having me in this meeting. I do have some slides as per usual. And some of you may recognise me. I've spoken in a few of these meetings this year and in previous years to share the work of the Hub. What I'm going to be sharing today is programmes that are available for next academic year. So I know I've come to these meetings for to share programmes. These are different, or they're updated for things happening next year. So this presentation might be slightly longer than usual, but it will likely be the last update of this year, now that the windows for applications are open and programmes will begin to fill up. So I'm sure you'll be devastated to not see me again in one of these meetings. So I like to start with a quick snapshot of the region that Origin covers. We're designated by the DFE, and every single school in the country is covered by their assigned maths hub. We all offer the same programmes, but they're run locally through the hub. And as you can see on that diagram, we cover the full Warwickshire Local Authority area. The programmes that we're currently accepting applications for are highlighted in green, and I'm going to talk through those quickly today. Focusing on Warwickshire specifically, as you can see from the slides, Origin is at the point now where there are only a small group of schools that aren't taking advantage of the free maths CPD that we offer. And it is mainly schools in the south of the region. So we've got 194 schools across Warwickshire already working with us, meaning that there are only 60 that haven't yet engaged with some part of our offer, which is exciting. I'm not going to go into too much detail about each of the programmes today, as there are quite a few, and I want to be really clear that this isn't a pitch to any leaders present, school leaders present, as most of you are already engaging with Origin. Our main objective from this meeting is for school leaders to be aware of the Origin offer as a whole, and then to be able to decide if any of it feels suitable for your school. Because as always, there's never any pressure to engage, and we as a hub aren't beholden to any targets. We just really want to make sure that any schools that choose not to engage have a full picture of what they're saying no or not right now to. And I do think this is especially important as head teachers and maths leads do receive a lot of information from lots of different places about the CPD available, which can make it hard to make sense of the landscape. Before sharing an overview of the programmes, I did want to quickly run through some common misconceptions that have come up over the course of this year, in case any colleagues within your school have any questions or queries. So general misconceptions. Firstly, if there are any schools using curriculum materials listed on the slide there, they are compatible with the work that we do. So the work of the hub is focused on the approach to teaching maths and not on providing schemes of work. So therefore, everything we offer is compatible with like White Rose, Arc Mastery, Power Maths, for example, because we all follow the same mastery methodology, which I think is reassuring to know that we're all on the same lines here. There's no big conflicts there. And the programmes are also suitable for any schools using their own materials. You don't need to be using a curriculum package in order to engage with the work of the hub. Like I said, it's an approach that's kind of tailored to suit the needs of your school and the context of your school. In terms of the cost, as I've mentioned, everything we offer is completely free, in that there's no fee to participate in schools. And actually, some of the programmes that I'm going to talk about today come with some grant funding from the DFE. They're our Teaching for Mastery programmes, which may make them more accessible to schools in challenging staffing positions. Sessions are always far away. This is a particular challenge for our Warwickshire schools because it's such a big area, a big geographical area. Our main office is in Solihull. However, we do have sessions running all over the region to try and make them as local as possible to our schools. And the more schools we have on a programme from a region, the more likely it is that we're able to host locally to those schools. We do try and spread sessions around the region, and if any schools wanted to host a work group to minimise travel for their colleagues, we're always open to that as well. So there are general things and queries that we've had over the course of the year. In terms of Teaching for Mastery specific misconceptions, we've had some queries around the structure of Teaching for Mastery being quite inflexible. So the structure that we offer is designed to be tailored to the setting that it's operating within, so your school. Admittedly, in the early days of the programme, it was more prescriptive, but this has since been updated following feedback from schools nationally, and we would encourage any schools that have had this experience prior to Origin being designated to get in touch with us to see how you could possibly re-access the programme and where you'd fit into Teaching for Mastery now. We don't work with schools in a school advisory capacity, but more alongside schools on what they want to work on, which is why the Teaching for Mastery programmes includes bespoke school visits alongside those main sessions. Finally, the scope of change required for Teaching for Mastery is too great and it will generate more work. That's another misconception we get. So Teaching for Mastery is not a whole revamp of the curriculum. It's adjustments to how maths teaching is delivered to be in line with those mastery approaches. Head teachers work on the programme have actually also fed back to us that the programme develops the leadership capacity of their maths leads in such a way that it actually eases the load on them as a head teacher as it relates to maths leadership. So that's quite positive. Now onto the programmes. I'm going to share the whole school programmes, which is Teaching for Mastery, which is the approach for maths across the whole school. And then I'm going to share some individual practitioner programmes starting next year, which are specialist knowledge for the teachers specifically enrolled on those programmes. So starting with Teaching for Mastery, which is a programme for both primary and secondary schools based on the 5 big ideas of maths mastery shown there on the slide. The underpinning principles for Teaching for Mastery are that everyone can learn and indeed enjoy maths, and there's no such thing as having a maths brain or not having a maths brain, and pupils are therefore supported to develop learning behaviours and skills, to reason and connect new learning to prior learning, and the curriculum is sequenced in such a way to support this. All of this happens through teacher development, and approaching maths teaching is something that can be continually improved through collaboration and expert support. So our work groups are set up so if you feel like you have strong practice in maths or strong practitioners, it's not that this will help improve weak practitioners, it might do, but strong practitioners will also be able to give to the local community as well. So it truly is a collaborative group, which I think is a really exciting part of the programme. In practice, this means lessons are designed in such a way that learning is sequenced to always be building on that prior knowledge, and any new knowledge relates to that to build that secure understanding and those secure mathematical foundations. Lessons will be containing key examples and representations to emphasise these connections, using pupil practice to reinforce all of that learning. Therefore, in the classroom, this means that the teachers are using precise and consistent language to support students to discuss, to reason and to apply their knowledge, with a focus on the depth of maths rather than the breadth. Our work group support colleagues to do this, and like I said, through those bespoke visits can be shaped for the specific context of the school. So, the work groups themselves. This is the primary Teaching for Mastery model, and it's quite similar to secondary, and I'm not going to go into the details of each layer of the programme. I just wanted to highlight that Teaching for Mastery is a rolling programme that continues year on year. The idea behind the multi-year model is that the knowledge stays within schools and organisations, and that Teaching for Mastery is embedded and sustained across the whole school, and schools aren't dependent on one particular colleague remaining at the school long term because they're the person with all the knowledge, they've attended the sessions. The idea is that it's embedded across the whole school over multiple years. So for schools that haven't begun Teaching for Mastery, there are 2 entry points depending on where the school sees themselves fitting, either Mastery Readiness, that's that tealy sort of colour at the top, or Mastery Development, which is that yellow bar at the bottom. More information are on these slides, I'm sure they'll be circulated. So readiness would be for primary schools that want to begin by working on effective maths leadership, so work on structures to support change, CPD as it relates to Teaching for Mastery, classroom culture and attitude to maths within both teachers and pupils before moving on to the development year the following year. Schools are able to send 2 colleagues to be the mastery advocates for their school, and Louise Burnett, who I'm sure lots of schools here will have worked with at some point, has been successfully running the programme this year, and we hope she'll continue to run readiness next year. So the full details and application link are on this slide. Anything that's in that bright green colour is a link, so when these are circulated, feel free to have a look at that or apply for a praise if it sounds something that your school might be interested in. So development is for schools who feel ready to begin developing and embedding the Teaching for Mastery approaches within their school. There is an £1,000 grant for development, which is given to all participating schools to support them engage fully with the programme. So if your school starts in readiness, they'll move into development and get that grant at that point. It's not that a school that starts in readiness would miss out. The secondary Teaching for Mastery programme is similar, as I mentioned. However, there is only one entry point, which is Teaching for Mastery development. And then schools then move into the sustaining year with an additional 3 days bespoke support in their first sustaining year, shown here on the diagram as that red embedding support year. This is the details for the secondary development programme with the sign up link at the bottom in that green colour for any schools interested. This slide shows what the workgroup includes, what schools can expect to receive and what each school commits to. And the programme comes with a £2,000 grant, £2,000 grant funding to support full engagement with the content. There are actually only 3 places left for next year, and we do have a number of Warwickshire secondary schools that will be eligible to start development next year. So if this sounds like something that could be of interest to you in your school or something you wanted to share with your maths lead, please do get in touch and submit your application as soon as possible, because places are allocated on a first come first serve basis for any eligible schools. And like I said, there's only 3 places left already. So they were the bigger programs that we offer. I'm now going to run through, and I keep saying run through like I'm going to do it quickly, and I talk a lot because maths is a thrilling subject that we can all get behind. But these are the individual colleague programs that we have available for next year. I'm also going to ask for a bit of feedback from people here on this offer, as we do have some scope to apply for research and innovation work groups if we feel like there's a gap, as I've mentioned before. So our specialist knowledge for the teaching of maths programs focus on the individual practitioner development, and they last one academic year. They're delivered through a series of sessions spread across the academic year, either face-to-face or a blend of face-to-face and online or twilight sessions, and they'll be the equivalent of approximately 4 days. Each group will have a specific mathematic focus for the year and will be for a colleague in a specific role, using centrally produced core materials signed off by the DFE. So our primary and early years offer is on the slide here. And as I've mentioned before in one of these meetings, one of our work to head teachers actually used the SKTMs listed here as part of her maths induction for new staff. So any new colleagues that join the school are signed up to the relevant SKTM for their role. So TAs go on the TA programme and ECT goes on the ECT programme, so on and so forth, which I think is a really interesting way to use the offer available. So for our primary and early years programmes, the aim is to develop primary and early years colleagues. We find that they're particularly relevant for teachers that have not received maths specific training beyond their initial teacher training year. And we have number and spatial reasoning pathways available, or number and shape pathways available for early years. The green, again, are links that will take you to a page with more information in the sign up link. We also have programs for teaching assistants, which have excellent feedback. This particular program does fill up very, very quickly. We are running 3 cohorts this year in response to feedback that schools really wanted and really valued this program. And the program aims to support teaching assistants to learn pedagogic approaches to support children master mathematical concepts, and for them to understand and better use language and the maths itself, alongside those teaching for mastery approaches. So we also have a programme for early career teachers, which is maths specific training that complements the early career framework content. We've had feedback that participants find it really helps with their confidence in teaching maths, as it can be an area of nervousness for early teachers, as well as developing their subject specific skills. We also have a year 5 to 8 work group, which is secondary and primary schools working together to join up the Key Stage 2 and Key Stage 3 maths curriculum to make for the most robust transition from primary to secondary maths. Considering this offer now, I'm kind of going to throw it back out to you guys. Do you feel for primary or early years that there are any areas of maths CPD that are not covered that you would want us to offer next year? Okay, nobody's chimed in or put their hand up, so I'm going to take that to mean no. The offer sounds amazing, Hannah. Can't wait to sign all my colleagues up. It's comprehensive. If you do find you have any ideas after this meeting, please do drop us an email, and we'll always be willing to discuss those ideas. Our email address is on the final slide. Secondary opportunities available. We have a range of secondary programmes as well. We have an early career teacher programme for secondary to develop their pedagogy and confidence, which once again complements the ECF but in a subject specific way. We also have a secondary teaching assistant or learning mentor programme. That was brand new this academic year. We've had excellent feedback. It was completely full, so we're running it again next year. And this aims to equip them to better support the students that they work with in maths, whether that be in lessons alongside them or in smaller intervention groups that teaching assistants or learning mentors are running. We have a programme for secondary non-specialist teachers, which sounds a bit similar to the teaching assistant programme, but it is different because it's for any qualified teachers that didn't qualify as a maths teacher but find themselves with maths teaching on their timetable. So, for example, science teachers with some maths lessons in their week. That's to equip them with subject-specific pedagogy as it relates to maths. We also have programmes available for subject leaders, those bottom 2 on the slide, which we find really allows them to work with their counterparts from other schools regionally, as middle leadership can feel like a lonely place for some colleagues because they don't have a maths subject lead counterpart within their own school to bounce ideas off, learn from, see what other models exist for maths leadership. So it provides that sense of community that we found participants really appreciate. I'm going to ask the question again that got everybody talking last time. Does anybody feel that there are any gaps in this secondary offer that they'd like to see us offering for next academic year?
I think, Hannah, it's useful to just have some reflection time and to process, and I'm sure colleagues would put something in the chat or email you should they come up with some gaps that need filling there.
Definitely, thank you. So final slide now. These are our post-16 opportunities, our individual programmes for anybody delivering either core maths or A-level maths in school. So this could be for sixth forms or colleges, and the links are there on the slide. So if anybody's interested, please do have a look at those details. As I mentioned, our email address is on the slide here. I'm sure these slides will be circulated as per usual. So if anybody does have any questions about the offer or wants to know what your school is currently engaging with or what you're eligible for, please do get in touch and we're always happy to talk maths. Thank you for listening to me. I know I spoke for quite a long time today, but it will likely be for the last time this year. So thank you again, Darren, for welcoming me to your meeting.
No problem, Hannah. It's lovely to see you, and thanks very much for that very comprehensive presentation as well as the wealth of free support that's out there for schools as well. So thank you, Hannah, for your time today. Well, colleagues, thank you as always for making time for a few minutes on Tuesday afternoon. It is appreciated. We know that this half term is going to be particularly hectic for you all as well. So we just want to wish you a very good week. Just a reminder that it's the Warwickshire Education Partnership Board meeting on Friday at Shire Hall. And again, for those people that do attend, parking is provided in Barrack Street and Cape Road as well. So we look forward to seeing you there on Friday. So in the meantime, have a really good week, everybody. It's good to see you all. And as usual, WCC colleagues will stay on for a couple of minutes at the end of the call. But have a good week and take care. Thank you.